CBS News weather producer David Parkinson joins us now with the latest on the storm's path. So, David, which areas are still facing dangerous conditions because of Michael?
Right now, it's Virginia. So we've had probably more flash flood emergencies from the National Weather Service in the last several hours than you usually see in several weeks or even months. So it's a really serious situation in places like Roanoke and Danville. The center of the storm is actually north of Raleigh, North Carolina. But the interesting thing about the storm is it's actually really, really north heavy and to a certain extent northwest heavy. So you can see it on the radar right there. The winds are still at 50 miles an hour, but it is on its horse and moving 24 miles an hour is its forward speed. So it'll be off the coast and not that long, but you can see those deep reds and oranges in the radar in central Virginia. And that's where the real danger is.
And David, the heavy rain we saw here in New York is because of Michael, correct?
Right. So it's a precursor, in fact. And what's going on and part of what is forcing the storm to move so quickly is we've got what's called a kick, and that's a cold front that is just off to our west. So if you've been complaining about the warm weather in the Northeast, don't worry. It's all going to be gone by the time we get to the weekend. We'll be in the 50s and 60s.
Great.
So that cold front is pushing it east. And so you're getting some weather firing up along the cold front, which is what you're starting to see in New York. You're also seeing it push it off to the east. So that's where you're going to be seeing most of the rain over the next several hours. But yeah, in New York and down into Philly and D.C., that's where you're going to be seeing some pretty strong rain and potentially some flash flooding conditions.
But the storm is continuing to weaken as it moves up, correct?
Yeah.
Is there any chance it could strengthen again?
It may strengthen a little bit as it gets back over water, as hurricanes do or tropical systems do. But realistically, the rain is not going to get all that much worse. So if you take a look at how much rain we're looking at, it's 4 to 6 inches right along the Delmarva Peninsula there, but it's really up to 2 inches in New York City, 2 to 4 along the Jersey Shore out on Long Island, and then into southern New England for the Cape and the islands. That's where you're in that 2 to 4 range. Once you're into that blue, that's about 1 to 2.
It's amazing how far the reach of Michael is, though. I mean, this is...
Yeah, I mean, it has made the full trek from Florida. I mean, that's the amazing thing, right? So it made landfall Florida 1:30 Eastern time on Wednesday. It will be off the coast of Cape Cod by Friday at about 10 a.m. So it will have made that entire more than 1,000-mile journey in the span of about 2 days.
Is that unusual for a storm like this?
It's typical for hurricanes. It's atypical for what we've been seeing, right?
Yeah.
Remember, Irma, Florence, all of those storms had not been moving that forward. Certainly, Harvey is another example of that. But realistically, the thing that you've got to be concerned about in that yellow area, that's where the tornado risk is. But really, the purple and the red there, that's your flash flood risk.
Right.
And that's where we really think that the conditions will be worse tonight. There's actually a flash flood watch that extends much farther up into New England. But really, the area is highlighted there as who has to have their guard up.
And then when are these dangerous conditions expected to be over? When can we finally say goodnight to Michael?
Realistically, probably Friday afternoon will be when it starts. It will be very windy in the Northeast tomorrow, so that's something you've got to be aware of. But realistically, that storm that is right there is going to start moving off. It'll be out over the open ocean by Friday a.m. There you go. That's Friday.
Right, there it goes.
By lunchtime, it's off the coast of New York. So really a fairly quick mover. And the good news is we'll be back to sunshine pretty much the entire length of the East Coast on Sunday. So they don't have any bad weather for any sort of rescue operations or recovery operations that will be going along the coast.
So the biggest worry until then is really rain and flooding.
Yeah, flash flooding and some occasional severe thunderstorms that could bring down some trees, but really flash flooding, particularly in the Delmarva.
David Parkinson, thank you so much.
Sure thing.